going to be not just a tax on mines that most people across this country never see in their life. This is going to be a tax that will flow on to the bread, the milk, the roast beef, the ice cream, everything that goes on to the family dinner table, because this tax will actually put increased pressures, increased taxes on every step within the food, grocery and broader retail supply chain.
Many people believed that this fight had been fought and won. Are there any parts of the new agreement between mining companies and the federal government that have eased those sorts of concerns?
Well, I think it seems to have eased those concerns for three companies, and one of those companies' former chairman are now heading up the government-appointed love-in as to sort of see how that might all end up. So I think you've got a minimalistic approach that has ended the noise from just three companies across the entire Australian mining sector, so that's hardly adequate.
What are you hearing from small business in central Queensland in particular?
Well, look, this is a real concern. I mean, I've polled my members, and I'll say that's not just Central Queensland members, but certainly inclusive of Central Queensland members. And 90.5%, that's a massive figure, 90.5% of respondents, small business retail operators, believe that this tax is actually going to have a negative impact on the retail sector and drive up costs. So, what we're saying and what we're going to be saying in these ads is, hey, Prime Minister, you haven't got this right yet. Less of the spin, more substance. Let's make sure that what you're doing is not actually going to drive up the cost of living, as we know this will. Do something about it before the election. And look, if you don't, I suppose the subliminal message to consumers is, don't shoot the messenger. We're just the retailers in the middle of this. We're not the ones that are going to make a single cent extra of this tax on consumption.
Those figures that you just gave out there, I know that you did a survey amongst members when the original mining tax was being proposed. Have those figures been looked at again since the new arrangement?
Yeah, look, these figures are quite indicative of the opinion of our membership base right around the country on this tax concept. Any tax that is going to be imposed on the mining sector is what the concept is about, and this is something that I think we are very, very concerned about, because the spin is this is just a tax on big holes in the ground that no Australians ever come in contact with, and that's as far from the truth as there can be. This is a tax on everything along the supply chain that will work its way through. I mean, it's going to drive up household electricity bills beyond where they're already going, for a start, because it's going to be a tax on coal, a further tax on coal, and that's what powers 80% of our power generators in this country. So as much as it'll affect households exponentially more, it will also affect that supply chain, and that's food on the dinner table.
Do you still support some sort of restructure to the tax system on mining companies?
Well, Aaron, I've not been an advocate that there should be a restructure of that. I think this is something that I think's caught most Australians from left field. I mean, I think you've got mining companies, of which I'm not one, and we have no affiliation with any mining company at all. And I think what we've got is a situation where one of the key and critical sectors of the Australian economy is going to have to put up prices when they supply goods to us, or the on-sellers of those goods are going to have to put up their prices. That's just dumb politics. That's just dumb for the economy. And I think, moreover, at a time when the cost of living pressures on Australian families are so high already, why would you be looking at something that you can control, but instead letting that drive those prices up further?
The opposition are expected to withdraw spending on clean coal technology. Many predict that move could be just as detrimental to the industry. Is that a concern?
Look, Aaron, I'm not sort of going to claim that I've got an opinion on clean coal technology. I'm going to keep this really, really simple. I'm saying that there should be absolutely no actions taken that are going to drive up the cost to consumers. We as retailers in the towns around this country and throughout central Queensland know what it's like to actually have to pass on those costs to consumers. We see it in the faces of those customers every day. This mining tax that the Gillard government wants to put through and is putting through unfettered, and we've seen the Treasurer only yesterday saying there will be no further compromises, this mining tax is going to drive up prices. That's what we've got a problem with. We're hoping, probably against hope, that at the 11th hour the government will actually see sense on this. But at the end of the day, we've got to make our position clear. We're not going to make a cent out of this tax, but we will have to pass the prices on to our customers.